Good morning, everybody. It's Jim Feist in Las Vegas, joined by Hank Goldberg, who is also now a Vegas resident. Congratulations, Hank. I heard you moved into your place. You're getting all settled. TVs are up, phones are up, and you're sleeping in your own bed. It takes a while, but it's worth it. Welcome to Las Vegas.
Hey, I gave out a $40 here at Del Mar yesterday to our followers, so they should be happy.
You're damn right. You pick a few dollars up there, just throw 100 on that, and you're walking happy. We had I didn't know the gentleman, but I know you did, and I'm sorry for your loss because I know you were close. Tony Soprano suddenly passed away over the weekend, and that's very sad news obviously, for his family and loved ones and friends, and for football in general. And I know you had some things you wanted to say about it.
Well, Bill Parcells brought him to Miami, actually, on his recommendation. Bill knew him in Dallas, and he was given the head coaching job without very much experience, and he pulled off an incredible season. When Chad Pennington came there as Dolphin quarterback, they made the playoffs. They went up to New England, and he actually, it was an assistant coach who came up with the idea. They ran that shotgun formation, and the running back was getting the snaps, and New England was totally unprepared for it. But anyway, my recollection of Tony was when the owner, Steve Ross, and the general manager went off to interview Jim Harbaugh when it looked like he might be available, and they threw Sperano under the bus. They came back and had an unusual press conference where Sperano was sitting next to Ross, and Ross sat there and talked about them interviewing, going out there to meet with Harbaugh, saying that it was only because he was a Michigan guy and Ross was a Michigan guy. And Sperano just sat there and stared straight ahead, never looked at Ross. He was just fuming. It was a horrible thing to do to his coach, to just, leave him holding the bag, never saying anything to him when he was under contract. And, if Harbaugh had been interested, I'm sure he would have fired Sperano on the spot. And he made Sperano sit there through that press conference. It was very odd. And he didn't deserve that. But he was an interesting guy, very intense, very nice man. He was a guy I had a lot in common with him because he was from the same part of the country I was from, and we had a lot of the same interests. He loved Italian food. He was a good Italian cook, a great family man, and he was a good offensive line coach. Worked with the Raiders for a couple of years, and was a temporary head coach there, and then was in Minnesota. Was very tight with the head coach there. Nice man.
Yeah, it's a big loss, and our prayers go out to the family and everybody that knew him. We're not going to talk too much about sports today. We're going to wait for Wednesday, but I know you mentioned there's a lot going on in the camps. They're opening.
Yep.
Baseball, of course, is rounding into shape, and I've always found it an awkward period of time between the All-Star break and the trade deadline. Some of these players are rumored to leave. I think it bothers them and their families, being torn apart and not knowing what's going to happen.
Well, yeah, the one significant deal was that Machado leaving Baltimore and going to the Dodgers. That's a big move because the Dodgers needed a fill-in at shortstop, and he's going to play there, and that'll help them a lot.
It will. He's already helped quite a bit, and the 31st is the deadline, so there's a lot more things that are being rumored to happen, and we don't know, of course, how many will happen, but it does affect the players, and everybody out there should realize that in their handicapping, that there is some disruption. I mean, the Mets got rid of Familia, who's their best reliever. Obviously, that's going to have an effect on them. The fan base isn't happy about it, but I think that was basically dumping his salary more than anything because they got nothing for him. But that's what's going on in sports right now. You got to pick your spots. It's you shouldn't get yourself too far out there on a limb with all these things happening. But there's still profits to be made. Like you said, Hank, you got a $40 horse at Del Mar. Congratulations. And the fans and the people that bought that pick, they are very happy this morning. But Hank...
Well, there's a big story out of Indianapolis, and that is it looks like Luck is going to be ready to go. And that's huge for them.
Well, the question there is, and I agree with you, it is, potentially. The question is, have they rebuilt their offensive line so the kid doesn't get killed? Because they haven't done that in the past. And he has been banged around and hit more than any other quarterback 2 years ago and before that, until he went on the DL. So if they haven't rebuilt the offensive line, I don't know how long he's going to last. But I hope they have to the point where he can be a little protected. Give him a running back to hold off the rush. Yeah, you can have a great quarterback, but if you don't have anybody out there blocking for him, he's going to get killed.
Well, very significant if he can play. I mean, that's the big news. The other things will fall into place, hopefully, for him. But they have a new general manager there, and, he's well aware of the needs. But the question has been, he hasn't played in 2 years, basically. And, he's been in Europe undergoing all these treatments. And, the big question was, will he be ready for the start of camp? And it looks like he will be.
Yeah, interesting division there. Andrew Luck, Watson, Bortles, and Mariota. And which one do you like the best? If everything goes well, I mean, Luck, of course, is the pedigree, but Watson looked awful good in the short period of time he had. But it all comes down to the rest of the team, their defenses, their running backs, their offensive lines, et cetera, et cetera. It's a team game, and but if Luck is healthy,
well, to answer your question about the offense, they drafted Quentin Nelson, who was the 6th overall pick in the draft, and he'll probably start at left guard right away. And he's a pretty nasty guy. And the second round pick also will be a starter at guard, and that's a guy named Brandon Smith. So they were well aware of the problems. And Ryan Kelly comes back, who was hurt last year with a concussion. So, the offensive line was an immediate, concern for them, and that's what they went for in the draft.
Well, that's good. And let's hope that works out, because be nice to have Luck back in the pocket, so to speak, and he's certainly a great player. He was in college as well. He definitely goes right to the head of the class as far as that division and who the best quarterback is at this point, with Watson probably on his heels with the potential. But the football camps are opening, the horse races are running, baseball is going.
Yeah, big race this week, the Haskell.
Oh, that is a big race.
I've done my work on that, so it'll be an interesting race. You've got 3 horses in there. Good Magic, Chad Brown's horse. He's been gearing for that race. Core Belief, who won the big race in Ohio, is going to be in there, and of course you got Bravazzo, who ran second in the Preakness, I believe. So it'll be an interesting race. Of course, they don't have the big horse, the Triple Crown winner, so it looks like he's headed for retirement. So those are the top 3 horses in that race, and maybe Lone Sailor.
That'll be interesting. It'll be great. I can't wait for your picks to come out. Have a good day, Hank. Let's keep picking baseball winners. All your plays, my plays are up at jimfeist.com. Let's go there and get the plays. We've been winning. We've been making guys money. And jimfeist.com for Hank's plays, mine, and lots of good information. Other podcasts, and et cetera, et cetera. Hank, we'll talk to you again on Wednesday.
All right, Jim. You have a good day.
You too, bud.